Okay. So everybody, good evening. Welcome to the session which is regarding resume preparation with 360DigiTMG. So first of all, everybody know what is a resume. I don't have to explain it. So before talking about all of the things present in the resume, we'll just do a quick recap or a quick talk about why is this resume important. So why is it important? So first of all, the first impression. What is first impression? So, a resume is like a cover of a book, which is the first impression that everybody will get by your resume. For suppose you are buying a book. So, you will just look the cover of the book and you will make the judgment. So, just like that, your resume is also the first impression. So, make sure you are just using clear layout and also relevant headings to your resume, which will be visually very much appealing. And then it is a screening tool. What is a screening tool? Just imagine it is a filter. For suppose you will use filters to sort out the emails. Here also employers use your resumes as filters in order to just select suitable candidates. So just make your resume very much appealing, just like we have mentioned before. And also it is acts as a screening tool. And then showcase whatever the qualifications, whatever the skills that you have, and then it also showcases whatever the projects that you have done and whatever that you are mentioning, just it is useful for you to get or to make you stand out as a best employee or whatever it is. So showcases the qualifications is nothing but just showcase your skills and experiences and your collaborations or your achievements that you have got, all of those things that you can mention in your resume. And then coming to the customization, what is customization? So whatever the job that you're applying for, you have to tailor your resume accordingly. That is very much crucial. Why? Because if you mention the skills and experiences which are not regarding the job that you're applying for, it is not making any sense. So resume is important for a lot of things. In that, you have to make customization in your resume according to the job that you're applying for. And then job matching, as we have mentioned, whatever the job that you're applying for, you have to make your resume according to that job requirement. Your resume should align with the job requirement. And then efficient communication. So communication, your resume will communicate your qualifications very clearly to the employers. So make sure you just add whatever the requirements that the job has, whatever the job that you're applying for, just add whatever the requirements that have, which will communicate to the employers perfectly. That is nothing but efficient communication. And then coming to the interview selection, if you have a well-crafted resume prepared, you have a lot of chances of getting selected for the interviews. And then what? It demonstrates professionalism, attention to detail, and also effective communication skills. So, why a resume is important? So, first of all, it makes the first impression just like a cover of a book, and it is a screening tool which is just like filtering out. A lot of candidates are present for a single job. So, out of those candidates, how your resume will be filtered based on its look, based on the qualifications, or based on the work experience you have, whatever that you add according to the job description, according to the job requirement, based on that, screening will be done and you add your skills and experiences, which is showcasing your qualifications, and then what? Customize your like resume each and every time you're applying for a job. And then it should match to the job requirement, but which is job matching. And always a resume will communicate to the employer your basic qualifications very clearly. So you have to write your resume or you have to prepare your resume, which will communicate a proper information to your particular employer. And interview selection, out of these, if you prepare your resume well, a well-crafted resume will just show you a lot of chances for getting selected for an interview. And at last, you just have to demonstrate your professionalism, attention to detail, as well as your effective communication skills. That you have to show that you are very perfectly fit for the job based on your resume. So this is how this resume is important for everybody to just stand out of all the candidates who are applying for the job. And then what? What a resume should have. What a resume should have? First of all, contact information. What is contact information? You should just provide very clear and up to date contact information of yourself so that the employers can contact you very easily. That is contact information. And what a resume should have along with the contact information? That is professional summary. What is professional summary? You have to provide your skills and experiences in your resume so that it will just provide the overview of your qualifications in your resume. That is professional summary. And then what? skills. You have to provide both technical skills as well as soft skills. What is technical skills? You have to provide which tools you have idea on, or whatever the languages that you have grip on, whatever the technical skills that you have. And then soft skills. What is soft skills? If you have good communication skills, you can mention that, or creativity, or problem solving, all of these comes under soft skills. So mention both technical skills as well as soft skills. And then whatever the work experiences that you have, the past work experiences, or whatever the internships that you have done. So along with that, you have to mention if you have done any internships, what is your job role and which company you have done your internship in, and also what is the dates of your employment. All of those information you have to provide here under the work experience or internships. And then what a resume should have along with these, education. Education is nothing but you have to include all of your educational background details, like starting from whatever the degrees that you have earned and from what institutions you have gained that degrees from, and your graduation dates. All of those information you can provide under education. And then what? You have certifications. If you have achieved any professional certificates or any relevant certificates according to the job, you can provide it under certifications. And then projects. If you have done any specific projects, you can provide detailed information about that. Like what is your role in the project? And what is the project's problem, like business problem? And what is the project's solution? What did you do? And what is your role in that project? And what are the benefits that you have got? All of those information you can just like talk under about the projects. And then what? Awards and achievements. What are awards and achievements? If you have got any awards or any recognitions for your work or any academic achievements, you can just represent under awards and achievements. These are the mandatory things that you should have in your resume. What are those? First of all, contact information. You should provide up-to-date contact information, and professional summary. You should mention whatever the skills and whatever the qualifications that you have. And then along with the skills, you have to specify what are the technical skills and what are the soft skills. And then what are your work experiences? If you have any, you can mention, or if you have done any previous internships, you can mention under the internships. And what are your educational background, like coming from the degree, whatever that you have, the maximum masters or whatever, you can mention under education. And the certifications, what about certifications? If you have any additional certifications or professional ones, you can mention under certifications. And if you have done any specific projects, you can mention under the projects. And if you have got any awards or recognitions, you can like represent under awards and achievements. These are the mandatory things that you should have in your resume. And then what? For suppose, imagine we are taking an example over here. There are two persons. One is Mr. ABC and the second one is Mr. 360. Okay, we are making a comparison between these two persons regarding their resumes. Whatever that we have mentioned that a resume should include, like the contact information, the summary details, all of those things, we'll just make a comparison between these two people. Okay, first of all, let's see the contact information. So there are two people as mentioned before, Mr. ABC and Mr. 360. And Mr. ABC, he just mentioned under the contact information in his resume, like very too less or too much contact information. Whereas Mr. 360, he just provided exactly what is needed, which is the proper information. So what is his full name, his phone number, his email address, his LinkedIn profile, along with the portfolio website, just like GitHub. So suppose, imagine everybody. So there is a person which is Mr. ABC. So he is a person, he just talks too much, which provides or who provides a lot of unnecessary details. Whereas, or either you can imagine he's just talking way less. Like what? He's just not providing enough information. So he's just making other people like overwhelmed with unnecessary details, or what we can say, he's just making people confused with very less information. So instead of doing either of those two things, Mr. 360, what he did, he just provided whatever the information that is required, which is the proper information. Like whatever the details that are necessary, he provided under the contact information in his resume. So if we make a comparison between these two persons, so which is more standing out, the proper information will be standing out. So you have to make sure you provide proper information or contact information, the up-to-date information under the contact information section. And the second one we have talked about is professional summary. And again, the same people, Mr. ABC and Mr. 360. And here we have Mr. ABC. He provided under the professional summary, which is vague and general. What is vague and general? What is vague and general? You can understand he is not providing his skills and experiences which are required for the job. Whereas Mr. 360, he just provided whatever the skills and experiences that he had according to the job description. Like imagine Mr. ABC is telling that he is just wanting a job. I want a job. And Mr. 360 is telling, I am perfect for this job because I have exactly what you're looking for. There is so much difference between the two that they are talking about, right? So you have to provide whatever the details that are necessary according to the job that you're applying for. The professional summary should include the skills and experiences that you are having according to the job that you are applying for. Okay. And then the skills, coming to the skills which we have talked about before, technical as well as soft skills. So same two persons, Mr. ABC and Mr. 360. And Mr. ABC, he just kept under the skills the irrelevant information to the job description. He's not paying much attention to the job description. He's just writing whatever the skills he had, but it is not matching to the job that he had applied for. But Mr. 360, what he does, he just used resume mapper of 360DigiTMG in order to compare his current resume with whatever the job description that he had. So what does resume mapper do? Resume mapper will just compare his resume with the job description and it will provide the keywords that it is missing. The resume is missing some keywords according to the job description that is provided with the resume mapper. So you can just go through the keywords and you can just make them involved in your current resume so that it will just be stand out according to the profile matching that was done by the recruiters. And then what? There is work experience or internships. So Mr. ABC, he had mentioned no projects and he had no work experience before, but he mentioned a few projects that he had done based on the online datasets. Whereas Mr. 360, what he had done, he mentioned real life projects that he worked on during the internship project phase at Innodatatics. So he just worked on the real time projects. So he shared in his resume whatever the experiences that he had faced during that internship phase or internship project phase that he had done it in Innodatatics. So it is more lively, whereas this Mr. ABC person is not providing any experience. So this is not standing out. His profile may not be stand out because there are a lot of candidates who are experienced, more experienced than him. So always make sure if you have done any internships before or if you have any work experience before, make sure to include that in your resume. And then education, coming to the education. So Mr. ABC, he just mentioned all of his details from 10th standard onwards, along with the marks. That is not necessary for the recruiters to go through, right? So Mr. 360, what he had done, he had mentioned his degree, whatever the degrees that he had earned, and in which university he had done his degree, and graduation years, and whatever that are relevant according to the job, he had just mentioned everything in reverse chronological order, which is way more beautifying. Like the resume is way more standing out when compared with Mr. ABC because no one just talks about 10 standard marks and all. That is not required for the recruiters, right? So you have to mention whatever that is just required in your resume. That is the most important thing. And then what? Certifications. So certifications, Mr. ABC, he has no certificates to show. So whereas 360, he has various certificates like what? So he had got 360DigiTMG blockchain enabled certificate and NASCOM certificate, Sunny certificate, and internship project certificates. So what is the benefit of having certificates? It just showcases that he had more experience than other persons. When we compare these two persons that we have taken as example, Mr. ABC and Mr. 360, Mr. ABC is not having any certificates. Why is not having any certificates? If we compare a lot of resumes for a particular job, Mr. ABC will not stand out. Why? He is not having any certificates to show. Whereas Mr. 360 is having a lot of certificates that he had achieved according to his skills. So he is more expertise in his area of work when compared to Mr. ABC. So make sure you just go through a lot of new things that you are about to learn and just get the certificates, which is very much useful for your resume. And then what? Projects. Coming to the projects, Mr. ABC, worked on dummy projects or some YouTube projects, and that projects does not have any project format, any proper format. So what is proper format? So if a person who is not very well of the project that you have done of, so if he looks at your project that you have mentioned in your resume, it should be like very much clear understanding. Even if he is new to the project, it should be giving some idea to him, like what is the business project about, what is the project about, and how he just solved the problem, what is the business solution, and what are the benefits that he had achieved. And in that process, what he had used the technology stacks as all. So that is having a proper format. So here, Mr. 360, what he had done, he had worked on 2 to 4 live projects and he used a desired project format. What is a desired project format? Just like I mentioned. So see here, imagine this is the project format that Mr. ABC used, which is about inventory optimization of TMT steel rods. And here he mentioned about the project in a paragraph. If I go through the project, I am new to this project. If I go through this project that he mentioned in his resume, I won't get a brief idea in a few minutes, right? But if we just format this project perfectly, like this Mr. 360, see here, he's just specified the business problem and what is the business solution and what is the technology stack he used and what are the business benefits. So when I look at this format of the project mentioned by Mr. 360, it is very much understandable for me. Right. So you have to format your project that you are adding to your resume in a way that anyone can understand. Okay. And then coming to the awards and achievements, Mr. ABC, he had no relevant awards or no relevant achievements. Whereas Mr. 360, he has a research paper published in international journal on the project he has worked on. As he had worked on a lot of projects, 2 to 4 live projects, as mentioned before, he had got a research paper published in international journal. That is an add-on for him. So that is an award that he had achieved. So he can just mention that in his resume, which is just an addition for his resume. So whenever you are preparing a resume, you have to go through all of those which we have compared before. So out of the 2 resumes that we have compared, which is Mr. ABC and Mr. 360, you have to be very much clear that all of the skills or qualifications or the format that you're using, everything should be based on the job that you're applying to. Okay. And coming to the resume formatting. So here, if you observe this resume over here, sorry, here, if you observe this resume which is formatted, you can see there is not much understanding of this. What there are no clear subheadings, and there are spelling mistakes present, and there are grammatical errors present, and the font size is not fine. You have to go through all of these basic things. When you're formatting your resume, go through the basic things like you have to use the professional font like Times New Roman, Calibri, all of those things. And then you have to specify your subheadings clearly. And also, you have to go through the basic things like avoid spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes. All of those things you have to go through while formatting your resume. So, see, you have to keep your resume clean. You have to use the professional font and you have to use bullet points to easily readable, and then use subheadings to enhance your readability, and then be consistent with your formatting like font size, font style, headings, etc. And also avoid the major thing, which is avoiding the spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. You already know what are the few famous job portals that you can just upload your resume to. That is Naukri.com, Shine.com, Quicker Jobs, Upwork, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, all of those things you already know. These are some few famous job portals present. And then the most important thing, what are the important keywords that you have to add to your resume as a data analyst? So see, these are a few keywords that comes under technical skills and tools, and then analytical skills, business understanding, data management, and then soft skills. Just go through all of these keywords, everybody, and then add all of those keywords which are required according to the job that you are applying for. Not all the keywords are necessary for every job. Okay, these are the major keywords for your resume as a data analyst. And coming to the frequently asked questions. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? So this is the most frequently asked question. So if you have such type of question, what would you answer? You have to tell what are your future goals or career goals. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You have to talk about your career goals and how they align with the company growth. And then what? Why should I hire you? If you have such question, why should I hire you? What would you answer? What would you answer? You have to tell how you are very much benefit to the company and how much your skills and experiences are very much fit to the role that you have applied to. And then why do you want to work at a company? You have to talk about what attracted most at that company, like its reputation or its values or its cultures, whatever that you have attracted to, you have to mention. And then what programming languages and tools do you know? List out whatever the languages that you know and whatever the tools that you are aware of, all of those things explain briefly. And then can you share a data analyst project that you have worked on? Just share whatever that you have worked on as a data analyst, the project details, as we have mentioned in the format. What is your project about? And how did you solve that business problem? And what are the results that you got? Mention everything. So this is about resume building, everybody. So I'll give a quick overview of this resume building session that we have up to here. So when you are preparing a resume, what you have to do, it just talks about a lot of things that we have mentioned before. Like it will just make a first impression to the recruiters or the employers, or it is just the way which is screened, like filtering the lot of candidates that have applied to the job, or it just communicates a lot of your qualifications directly to the recruiters or employers. There are a lot of things which are benefit when you have a well-crafted resume. And then whatever the necessary details that you have to add, the contact information, like you have to up to date present your contact information so that if you are shortlisted to the job, they can contact you easily. So all of those things you have to go through, and just accordingly you have to prepare your resume based on the job description. You have to go through the job description, then you have to prepare your resume accordingly. Not the standard resume, you have to send it to every job that you have applied to. That is not the thing that you have to do. And then those are the things that we have seen based on a comparison process of two persons, Mr. ABC and Mr. 360. And at last, we have seen how a resume should be formatted and what are the important keywords as a data analyst you have to add to your resume. And then the frequently asked questions. Here I've mentioned five of those. You can just go through everything and you can just prepare your answer by yourself. As I have mentioned, you can just prepare answer to yourself. And let me just show you how a resume mapper works of 360 digit MG. Just let me open this resume mapper. So here is the resume mapper of 360 digit MG. So as we discussed about this before, Mr. 360 used this resume mapper in order to change his resume according to the job description. How? When you open the resume mapper of 360 digit MG, you can find two places where you can upload your resume either in PDF format or a document format. And the second one, you have to upload the job description. And then you have to compare both of those. So I'll show you one example for this. I already have a sample resume present. So I'll just load this one. So I had a sample resume in PDF format. I'll just upload here the sample resume. Under the job description, I already had a sample job description for a data analyst. I'll just upload it here. So after just uploading the resume as well as the job description, I'll just make a comparison now using the resume mapper of 360 digit MG. So click on compare now. Just give it a few seconds. It is processing. After that, it will show you whatever the keywords that you are missing in your resume. So give it a second. So if you observe over here, there is 40% match to your resume according to the job description. So these are the similarities that we have found, and these are the missing skills. You can go through the missing skills that mentioned here, and you can use ChatGPT in order to just make your resume like what according to the job description. You can add these skills along with whatever that you have in your resume. That's when you will get most of the details present according to the job that you have applied to, and your resume may stand out of all the candidates. I hope this session is helpful for you, everybody. Thank you.